In yesterday's video, I said you should look for my monthly reports on the planetary triggers that will activate the Neptune transit that Trump is experiencing through his 8th house. After pondering it a bit, it occurs to me I need to do this more frequently, like once on a weekly basis or nearly so, otherwise it makes it too difficult to stay on top of the matter in order to properly keep track of the Orange Menace. Matter of fact, I'll admit that when I do it this way, I myself track the situation better as well. This is a great example of the wisdom of working in increments and letting the complete picture arise. For one thing, as actual life developments take place week to week, the next interpretations are necessarily adjusted to take the new information into account. So with that in mind, here goes the planetary trigger scenario for what is approximately the second week of April, a period spanning from today until about mid-month. As luck would have it, or as bad luck in the case of our least favorite troll, Mars is about to be an active trigger to his long-term Neptune transit, and Mars, without being one of the more impactful big planet transits that tend to start from Jupiter outward, simply because those Jupiter and beyond planets move slower, and so they hang around long enough to really impart their message. Still, among the faster planet triggers, Mars is the slowest, and therefore potentially the most meaningful. And because Trump has such an overblown Mars, it rises on the other side of the ascendant, making it extremely forceful. And because he tends to misuse it every chance he gets, remember that when it was trine his ascendant, which is supposed to be a beneficial surge of energy, he used it on January 6th to launch an insurrection. So this overblown, excessive Mars is more likely than not to pose problems for him, either through things that happen or because he himself chooses to deploy his infallible wisdom to launch yet another self-destructive initiative that blows up in his face. So, today, Wednesday, April 7th, Mars starts to oppose his moon. And it will not stop until at least Sunday night of April 11th, possibly even taking it into Monday morning of the 12th. All by itself, this would be an irritant. But as a trigger to the transiting Neptune, its influence is moved up a considerable notch and could easily coincide with some bad news related to all those nasty things I mentioned about the 8th house and Neptune in my recent videos. And within that time block, on Friday the 9th, we see the transiting moon going through the Pisces degrees where Neptune is hanging out, waiting to be lit up. The moon does exactly that, even as it squares itself and the sun, most of Friday starting at 7 in the morning Eastern and continuing until late afternoon. So, Friday threatens to be a bit of a trip for the Donald, especially because as this lunar trigger is happening, Mars is already in play, triggering from the other corner. And if that wasn't enough, because his sun degrees in the mutable polarity of Gemini Sagittarius happen to be so close together, Mars already gets within orb of the sun by late Friday night, when it conjoins the sun and continues to do so until at least the end of the day next Wednesday the 14th. So in summary, a very astrologically active week for our former president, and an almost guarantee we will see some fire and fury because this guy never misses an opportunity to attack something or someone when Mars is around. But remember that while Mars and the moon are the triggers, it is Neptune that is the key pressure energy. So expect him to do what he always does, lie, deflect, deceive, and gaslight, which is a corrupt Neptune's favorite way to play. And remember, if you start feeling anxious about the slow turning of the wheels of justice, the advice is be patient. He's already in the grip of Saturn and Pluto pressures, and as of right around now, he enters the Neptune 8th house dungeon, a most dangerous place indeed, and he isn't getting out for years. So there will be lots and lots of frequent chances for the many triggers that will happen on a weekly basis to at some point confront him with the kind of payback he richly deserves.